The Little Prince book reading. Once when I was 6 years old, I saw a magnificent picture in a book called True Stories from Nature about the primeval forest. It was a picture of a boa constrictor in the act of swallowing a rat. Here's a copy of the drawing. In the book it said, boa constrictor swallow their prey whole without chewing it. Can you imagine me not chewing my food at dinner? You know what my mommy would say? You have to chew your food and chew it 30 times before you swallow it. And this snake gets to chew his food whole. He's a mean snake. He doesn't have a mommy to tell him to chew his food. So after that, you know what happens to the snake? They're not able to move or anything. They have to lay down and go to sleep. And they have to sleep 6 months. They need 6 months for digestion after they swallow an animal whole. So I pondered deeply. Ponder. And then, over the adventures of the jungle, and after some work with my colored pencil, I succeeded in making my first drawing. My drawing number 1. It looked like this. Do you see it? So, you know what? I showed it to my friends, and I asked them if the drawing frightened them. And they said, no, why would I be frightened of a hat? It wasn't a hat. It was a snake who ate something and had a bump in his stomach. So, the grown-up's response this time on my drawing number 2 was to advise me to lay aside my drawings of boa constrictors, whether from the inside or the outside, and devote myself into geography, history, arithmetic, and grammar. And I said, why at the age of 6? I gave up what might have been the magnificent career as a painter. I have been disheartened by the failure of my drawing number 1 and my drawing number 2. Grown-ups never understand anything by themselves. Can you imagine? So, I was upset because my future drawing career was kaputted. And it's tiresome for children to be always and forever explaining things to adults. So then I chose another profession and learned to pilot airplanes. I've flown a little over all parts of the world, and it is true that geography has been very useful to me. At a glance, I can distinguish China from Arizona, and if one gets lost in the night, such knowledge is very valuable. In the course of this life, I have had great many encounters with a great many people who have been concerned with matters of consequence. I have lived a great deal among grown-ups, and I have seen them intimately close at hand, and that hasn't much improved my opinion of them. Whenever I meet one of them who seem to me at all clear-sighted, I tried the experiment of showing him my drawing number 1, which I've always kept. I would try to find out. So if this was a person of true understanding, but whoever it was, he or she would always say, that's a hat. Then I would never talk to that person about boa constrictors or primeval forests or stars. I would bring myself down to his level or her level. I would talk to them about bridges and golf and scooters and neckties. And the grown-ups would be greatly pleased to have met such a sensible young man. So, I have to find someone who I can show my boa constrictor drawing number 1 to. But, so, anyway, I would talk to them about these things. Oh, look at my dog. Oh, look at my hat. Look at my new sneakers. And what food restaurant we should go to. So I lived my life alone without anyone that I could really talk to until I had an accident with my plane in the desert of Sahara 6 years ago. Something was broken in my engine. What's wrong with my engine? Oh, down, 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 down I was going. So as I had with me neither a mechanic nor any passengers, I set myself to attempt the difficult repairs all alone. It was a question of life or death to me. I had scarcely enough drinking water to last a week. The first night then, I went to sleep on the sand, 1,000 miles from any human habitation. I was more isolated than a shipwrecked sailor on a raft in the middle of the ocean. But I had lots of sand, and I made a nice bed and a nice pillow. Thus you can imagine my amazement at sunrise when I woke up, when I was awakened by an odd little voice. And the voice said, "If you please, draw me a sheep." What? Draw me a sheep. I jumped to my feet completely thunderstruck. I blinked my eyes hard. I looked around to the right. I looked around to the left. I looked all around me. I didn't see anyone. And then I saw a most extraordinary small person who stood there examining me with great seriousness. Very serious indeed. This little person was looking up at me, and he was very little. Here, have you seen the best portrait that later I was able to make of him? But my drawing is certainly very much less charming than its model. No offense, little person. I did my very best. So, I was drawing the little person to make the best portrait of him. And so, that's what I had to do. And then I jumped to my feet, and the little person needed to seem strange. He just said, it's not my fault that the portrait didn't come out very much like the model. But last as I was a speaker, I said to him, "But what are you doing here?" And in answer, he repeated very slowly, as if he were speaking as a matter of great consequence, "If you please." I said, "Please draw me a sheep." I drew him a sheep. What does he want with me? So I drew the little sheep, and then I remembered how my studies had been concentrated on geography and history, and I said, "I don't know how to draw a sheep." He goes, "That doesn't matter. Draw me a sheep." But I'd never drawn a sheep before, but I drew him one of two pictures. No, I do not want an elephant inside a boa constrictor. A boa constrictor is a very dangerous creature, and we are very small. What I need is a sheep. Draw me a sheep. So then I started making a drawing. He looked at it carefully, then he said, "No, this sheep is already very sickly. Make me another one." So I made him another one. My friend smiled gently and intelligently. You see yourself," he said, "that this is not a sheep. This is a ram, for it has horns." So then I had done my drawing once over again, but then he rejected it too, just like the others. "This one is too old. I want a sheep that will live a long time." By this time, my patience was exhausted because I was in a hurry to start taking my engine apart, so I tossed off this drawing and I threw it out with explanation. "This is only a box. The sheep you asked for is inside." I was very surprised to see a light break over the face of my young judge. "This is exactly the way I wanted it." "Oh, not so bad at all. Look," he said, as he gone to sleep. And that is how I made the acquaintance of the little prince. It took me a long time to learn where he came from. The little prince who asked me so many questions never seemed to hear the ones I asked him, but it was from words he dropped by chance that little by little everything revealed to me. The first time he saw my airplane, for instance, I shall not draw my airplane. That would be too much complicated for me. "What is that object?" "This is not an object. This is the airplane. It is my airplane." And I was proud to have him learn about it, that I could fly. He cried out then, "What? You dropped down from the sky?" "Yes," I answered modestly. "Oh, that's crazy." And the little prince broke into a lovely peal of laughter, which irritated me very much. I liked my misfortune to be taken seriously. Then he added, So you two come from the sky, which is your plane. At that moment, I caught a gleam of light and the imperial mystery of his presence, and I deemed abruptly, do you come from another planet? But he didn't reply. He tossed his head gently without taking his eye from my plane. It is true that what you say can't have come from very far away. And he sank into a reverie which lasted a long time. Then taking my sheep out of his pocket, he buried himself in the contemplation of his treasure. You can imagine how my curiosity was aroused by his half-confidence about the other planets. I made a great effort, therefore, to find out more on his subject. My little man, where do you come from? Where is this where I live, of which you speak? Where do you want me to take your sheep? After reflective silence, he answered, the thing that is so good about the box you have given me is that at night he can use it as his house. And that is so. If you are good, I give you a string too, so that you can tie him up during the day and posts to tie him too. But the little prince seemed shocked by this offer. Uh-oh. Maybe he doesn't like to tie up the sheep to the little box house I gave him. But the little prince seemed, he said, what a queer idea. But if I don't tie him, I said, he will wander off somewhere and get lost. My friend broke into another plea of laughter. But where do you think he should go? Anywhere, straight ahead of him. The little prince seemed earnestly, that doesn't matter. Where I live, everything is so small. And with perhaps a hint of sadness, he added, straight ahead of him, nobody can go very far. Don't you see? We are on a small planet, perhaps a hint of sadness. I had thus learned a second fact of great importance. This was the planet the little prince came from and was scarcely any larger than a house. It was tiny, but that didn't really surprise me much. I knew very well that in addition to the great planets such as Earth, Jupiter, Mars, Venus, to which we had given names, there are also hundreds and hundreds of others which are so small no one has even had tried to see them through the telescope or even name them. And astronomers discovered one of these. It doesn't give it a name, but only a number. He might call it, for example, Asteroid 325. I have serious reasons to believe that the planet from which the little prince came from is asteroid known as B612. The asteroid had only once been seen through the telescope. That is why a Turkish astronomer in 1909, on making discovery, the astronomer had presented it to the International Astronomical Congress in a great demonstration, but he was a Turkish costume, and so nobody would believe what he said. Grown-ups are like that. Fortunately, however, for the reputation of the asteroid B-612, a Turkish dictator made the law that his subjects, under the pain of death, should change to European costumes. So in 1920, the astronomer gave his demonstration all over again, dressed with impressive style and elegance, and so this time everybody accepted his report. Well, he looks so dashing and important and very informative and powerful, and we must listen to him. If I had told you the details about the asteroid and made a note that its number for you, it is on account of our grown-ups and their ways. Well, you would tell me that you had made a new friend. They would never ask you to question about essential matters. They never said to you, well, what does this voice sound like? What games does he love best? Does he collect butterflies? Instead, they demand, how old is he? How many brothers does he have? How much does he weigh? How much money does his father make? Only from these figures do they think that they have learned anything about him. What college did you go to? What degree did you get? If you were to say to grown-ups, I saw a beautiful house made of rosy brick with geraniums in the window and lilies on the roofs, they would not be able to get any idea about the house at all. You would have to say to them, I saw a house that cost $20,000, and they would also exclaim, oh, what a pretty house that is. I wish that house would be $20,000 these days. Just so you might say to them, the proof that the little prince existed is that he was charming and that he laughed and that he was looking for a sheep. And if anybody wants a sheep, that is a proof that he exists. And what good would it do to tell them that? They would shrug their shoulders and treat you like a child. But you know what I would say to them? The planet he came from is asteroid B-612, and they would be convinced and leave you in peace from their questions.